Stick around even if you don't have a VR headset right now, as this game will apply to you as well in a big way. Anyone can access the VR branch of this game, but it is experimental. Real-life simulation. It's something video games have always been reaching after, trying to simulate real life while giving us exactly what it is that we all want, and that's control. Is it escapism? That's a video for another day. The list of simulation games is long. Farming simulators, flight simulators, football managers, truck simulators, theme park simulators, zoo simulators, city simulators. I could go on and on. But as a British man who would be arrested for even smelling a real-life gun, I always enjoyed the gun and military simulation corner of this genre, with the likes of the Armour series, Escape from Tarkov, and Killing Floor 2. Now why do I say Killing Floor 2? Because the devs added double the frames to the reload animations than average of games at that time to simulate the most realistic reloads they could, and they were some of the nicest reload animations I've ever seen in an FPS at the time, and that was good for a while. VR took firearm realism to a whole new level. You could hold the gun, load it, and cock it yourself. In turn, VR has increased immersion, firearm understanding, and even safety. What do you think is the most realistic VR shooter in terms of firearm and shooting mechanics? Leave it in the comments down below. For me and many others, H3 VR, or hot dogs, horseshoes, and hand grenades, for those of you that don't know, this is one of the best examples of VR gun realism. Everything works as it should mechanically. Loading, unloading, safety switches, and so on. I've learned so much, but I would love to see what's going on inside those guns. And just to be clear, I have fired live ammo before, even if the caliber is depressing. Which means it was my lucky day when I found Receiver 2. Receiver 2 is for both VR and non-VR, and I'm going to of course look at the VR side of things, but I also want to talk about the non-VR side. Only briefly though, but just because this as a flat screen FPS is the closest thing to VR gunplay I have ever seen. Receiver 2 is one of those games that seems really simple when you explain it to people. People just think, well, that doesn't really sound that special. But then I have a question for you. Why can't I stop playing it? There's a couple of reasons for that. Well, only a receiver that has truly awakened can understand, but I can tell you a little bit. The guns here, as you might expect, are absolutely spot on, really high res. You can even read the engravings on the side and they just look gorgeous. This is accompanied by some really high impact sound as well. Shooting these guns is like ASMR.
Damn, that sounds good.
Powerful and impactful, very nice, and I don't get tired of hearing those shots or those impacts. By far the juiciest feature of this game isn't even on by default. You need to open the debug menu and activate it, and that is the amazing Inspector mode. The Inspector mode lets you see all the parts of the guns like an X-ray. The game describes itself as simulating every internal part of each firearm based on manufacturer schematics and gunsmithing resources, and they aren't kidding. This is like gun porn right here. Springs moving, mag tension when putting the bullets into the magazine, even parts when moving the hammer all move and work in real time. This made me want to do a full completionist run to unlock all the weapons and see the parts moving inside. If there's any gun experts out there, take a look at this footage and let me know exactly how accurate it is. And if you want to talk accuracy, on the Desert Eagle you can even see the bolt rotate and lock into position, and that is a really amazing thing. And to have it in VR you can see the whole thing up close and personal. Once you've enabled Inspector mode you can play through the whole game with it on or off at the touch of a button. For VR, just push your dominant hand thumbstick in. Now while the X-ray is the juiciest part of the game, the star of the show for me throughout was easily the magazines. What you talking about, Rex? Well, filling up the magazines, you have to put the bullets in yourself, and yes, of course, that's not out of the ordinary for VR, loads of games do it. But it's how it's done that I love.
So to put the bullet in, you slide it in like that, but then you have to depress it in the magazine to to slide in the next one, you can't just put it in or it falls out. You have to slide it back. Like that. Wow.
You play as a silent protagonist who's faceless as well, unless you count the fact that you look like a shooting range target, which is a nice touch because it's you versus the world here, and anything around these parts that moves is out to get you.
Ah. Whoa.
Your nameless, faceless self is dropped into a big map at a random location with a random gun, depending on what you've unlocked and found already, a flashlight, well, sometimes. You're in this large map with all sorts of areas, apartments, rooftops, construction sites, a hospital, and more. And man, oh man, does this environment look good. From the dynamic lighting to the high-res textures, it all looks great and can border on photorealism at times. My GTX 1060 was in pain playing this one, but it is good to know that you can play this game on lower end systems. Once you've been dropped into the map, you'll need to explore this huge area to find cassette tapes that will start to reveal the backstory and what exactly is going on here. But these cassettes will also brief you on a bunch of firearm stuff, from creator and manufacturer history like Smith & Wesson, another tape where I know a man I did a video with that will be very happy about a cassette that talks about proper breathing, taking your time, and even slicing the pie on corners.
Control your breathing as you approach the door, slowly slicing the pie as you go. You are in the fatal funnel now as you move in a semicircle past the door, but don't rush. See everything. Focus beyond that front sight. Let your body aim for you. Breathe.
You need to find 5 cassettes to move up a level to get more guns, all the while dodging fire from turrets and drones. They emit this ominous blue light while scanning, which helps you know where they are, and I can't fault that because you are as fragile as your grandma's best china.
Ideas have...
Damn it!
One shot, you're dead. That's it. This isn't run and gun, and you need to be precise and methodical. But it goes both ways, and one well-placed shot on a turret or a drone will take them down as well. You can shoot turrets in multiple locations to stop them. You can either shoot their ammo pack in their back so they can't fire. Just be careful they don't already have one shot in the chamber. That's caught me out a few times. You can shoot the sensor that they have on top so they can't detect you anymore, or you can shoot them square in the base to disable them altogether. If you don't have a weapon on you, and believe me, it happens sometimes, you can hack the turrets as well, which took a bit of figuring out, to be fair.
No idea how I did that. I just tapped it like hell.
The trick is to press your VR controller trigger lightly enough that this line stays within the section and starts to fill the circle. You'll have to tap lightly, repeatedly on your VR trigger to keep it there though. And once the circle's full, the turret is down. Now, walking around and dodging turrets and some drones doesn't really sound like much fun, but this game gives up a really tense atmosphere, and the graphics and lighting help it have this horror vibe at times.
I hear one.
The random placement of enemies and pickups each time that you play really add to the replayability, because no run will be the same as all the locations are different, including where you begin. So I said I'd talk briefly about the non-VR side of things because it's almost like playing a VR shooter but without a headset. You can do it all: load bullets into empty magazines, use the slide release, turn the safeties on and off. You can even check the chamber of your gun and learn how to deal with malfunctions. This is the kind of interaction VR brought to people as standard, but with Receiver 2, whether you have VR or not, you can be even more immersed with your firearms. Maybe you'll even learn something. And the way you hold the weapon, it has this little sway which feels just like VR. Receiver 2 is normally available for £15, which is about $20 on Steam, but right now it is 20% off, I assume in Black Friday sales, for the next 2 days after this video comes out. So if you want to get it on sale, now's the time to make a move on it. I'll say this again, just like at the beginning, be aware the VR is available via the beta branch on Steam, but it is an experimental thing. It was basically modded in as a test to see whether it could be done, and it works well. You can use the guns fine, except for one, the single action army. I couldn't eject the cartridges from the revolver. That could have just been a me problem. All of the other guns I tried, they all worked fine, and I could do all of the actions needed to use it. Collision can be a bit funny at times with the VR, like getting stuck on geometry of the level and objects. And also, when you go up a ladder, you do it instantly. It's a bit crazy. And the VR aspect isn't going to be worked on anytime soon, unless you're a modder watching this and you want to try and take this further. So I want you to know that, just in case you're looking at purchasing this game just for the VR. I found it to be fine while playing after I got used to the quirks, but it depends on the scale, I think, of what you're willing to put up with. I would say you don't want to spend full price on this just for VR, that is for sure, even though there is fun to be had here both in non-VR and VR. But I am cheap, so you can make your own mind up there. If you enjoyed the video, please leave a like and don't forget to subscribe for more PC VR and Oculus Quest or Meta Quest 2 content. If you want to support the channel in a more personal way, please consider going to the Eyes on VR Patreon. There's a link for that in the description down below. That's it for Receiver 2, the game with a simple gameplay loop, a weird story, but an amazing firearms mechanic that I have to admit I enjoyed a lot. With that, my name is Rex, this is Eyes on VR, thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you next week!
You have realized that something is wrong with the media and the people around you. You know that you are different. This is why you are ready to become a receiver.